The next group that we have that's going to be presenting is called 3GO. 3GO provides decision-grade organ-level data using scalable ex vivo human organ systems, improving translational accuracy and reducing late-stage drug failures by replacing imperfect animal models with real human tissues. To present 3GO, we have Mara. Mara, over to you.
Hi, my name is Mara, and this is Third Generation Organs, where we have real organs, real results, and real insights. Our journey to solving one of the biggest problems in drug development started in 2011. At that time, ex vivo organ perfusion was already being used clinically to preserve donor organs for transplantation, but only for hours. And what we saw wasn't a clinical endpoint, it was an untapped system. So if an organ could stay alive outside of the body at all, then disease could be studied outside. And if perfusion could be extended from hours to weeks, then disease could be studied directly at different time points, rather than inferred from snapshots. So over the next 10 years, we built towards that idea step by step. We solved long-term perfusion stability, miniaturized the system, and proved reproducibility across disease models, starting with type 1 diabetes. So the disease initiation and progression in our system matched what happened in live animals, but with one critical difference, and that's every biological input was controlled. So removing the organ from the body didn't distort the biology, it clarified it. So that's when the implication became clear. Phase 2 is where most drugs fail, but not because the science is wrong, but because the biology wasn't understood early enough. And that issue is a predictive gap. So preclinical development currently relies on cells and animal models, which each add a layer of information, but none allow you to observe whole organ biology in a controlled and repeatable manner. So as a result, phase 2 level efficacy questions are answered far too late. And without a way to answer these questions earlier, companies commit massive capital under biological uncertainty. So a single failed phase 2 trial can cost 50 to 150 million US dollars, and that's often after years of development. So how do we close that phase 2 gap? Our solution is EVOP, or ex vivo organ perfusion. So EVOP keeps animal organs alive outside of the body for 10 plus days, allowing us to observe whole organ responses to disease and drug treatment in real time, not cells, not fragments, but entire functioning organs. And as a drug development platform, we use our platform to model diseases in organs like the pancreas, lungs, and kidney, and to test how therapies behave at an organ level before they reach human trials. So this gives drug developers something they don't have today, which is a clear and early way to ask such questions that normally aren't addressed until phase 2. So where does 3GO change the game? We accelerate preclinical efficacy and safety decisions by 30 to 50% because we're observing disease progression and treatment responses directly rather than inferring them. So this means earlier kill decisions, which can save 50 to 150 million USD per failed drug, fewer drugs entering phase 2 with unresolved risk, and more confidence in the ones that do end up moving forward. And we also reduce animal use by more than 30% because one organ can be studied continuously over time instead of sacrificing animals at each endpoint. And that's in line with current FDA regulations, which call for more ethical preclinical testing models. So if you look at today's landscape, companies are forced to choose between two things: either models that reduce animal use but lack clinical relevance, or those that are predictive but expensive, slow, and unscalable. And 3GO sits in the middle. We offer organ-level predictive models that structurally reduce animal studies without sacrificing the biological relevance. So that's why EVOP isn't a replacement for existing tools. It's the missing layer between preclinical testing and phase 2 trials. And this isn't just theoretical. Our platform has been validated with over $2 million in non-dilutive funding and institutional support demonstrating real-world feasibility. And we've also filed for provisional patents to protect our IP. So let's take a look at our market. Our initial market is focused. In Canada, in the past year, there were over 1,000 drugs in development, which add up to a value of 68.7 billion US dollars. And with a 24.6 billion US dollar value of drugs at the preclinical stage, This is our serviceable addressable market. We're targeting an initial 2% capture, which has a value of $492 million by integrating EVOP into drug programs at the preclinical stage to de-risk development. So this is possible with our business model. In the first year, we will design custom EVOP experiments to deliver data on drug efficacy and safety for research labs. But our main revenue stream focuses on biotech co-development pathway, which allows us to generate near-term revenue while maintaining long-term returns as these therapies succeed. So let's have a closer look. Over time, this model compounds. Starting at year 2, the program fees generate revenue in a fee per drug program that is using our EVOP platform. And milestones, which start at year 4, align us with clinical progress. So this allows 3GO to attain payments at different rounds of success. And then we have royalties, which provide returns on drugs developed through our EVOP that advance and end up launching into the market. So in a 15-year projection, this translates to an $800 to $950 million total outcome driven by the well-selected and successful programs that go through our platform. So do we have what it takes? And the answer is yes. We've delivered over $100,000 in contract value with academic partnerships across UHN, Sinai Health, and the University of Toronto. We've also secured over $10 million in R&D capital through industry and government collaborations, and we've established academic and institutional partnerships that continue to feed demand. And this tells us two things, that the problem is real and that the market is getting ready to adopt our solution. So what we're missing today isn't the science, it's experienced access to pharmaceutical decision makers. We're looking for a business development advisor with a strong network across biopharma R&D and partnering teams, which can help us identify the right programs that can adopt our platform and how to structure those partnerships moving forward. And our team has what it takes to move this venture forward. Dr. Rogers, who's the lead scientist and founder of Inception Life Bank and had a successful $10 million exit at the time. Dr. Seltzner, who's the transplant surgeon from UHN and clinical researcher and the lead clinical scientist on our team. Anupama, who's co-CTO and a PhD who's working on the technicalities of our platform. And myself, who's the venture development lead. So 3GO exists today to answer the hardest questions in the drug development pipeline earlier. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention and welcome any questions.
Great, Mara. Thank you very much. We'll give it about a couple of seconds for the chat to kind of brew up some questions. In the meantime, I do have one. Where do you see 3GO, where do you see pharma and biotech teams integrating EVOP today? Does this replace any existing studies or sit along current preclinical workflows?
Yeah, so EVOP sits alongside existing workflows as a triage layer. So it doesn't replace the discovery models or regulatory animal studies that exist today, but instead it's inserted right before major capital is committed. And that's to pressure test efficacy and mechanism related questions before we enter phase 2 trials, which again is a pitfall for a lot of drugs.
Fantastic. And we have another question. Are there any direct competitors providing a similar solution?
Yeah, so current competitors include other companies that have preclinical models, such as organoids, but none exactly have the same sort of approach towards that organ level preclinical model. So we don't have exactly direct competitors, but we do have other companies in the preclinical model platform who do offer testing solutions, but none at the organ level. So we've got, again, cells, organoids, which are more simplistic.
Cool. And then we have one quick answer we might need from you for a question. What is your current IP portfolio?
Yeah, so we're currently, we've filed for provisional patents with Sinai Health. So we're in the process of moving these forward, and we're currently working on a collaboration with IP Ontario or IPON to develop that IP portfolio forward.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mara and 3GO team. The information is on the slide. If you have any other questions, please reach out to them directly in order to collaborate. Thank you, Mara.
Thank you.